Hello everyone. In Vietnam, there are countless ways to make bánh bao, steamed buns, with variations in both the dough and the fillings, using a variety of ingredients. However, regardless of the methods or the dough proportions, the result is always delightful steamed buns with a soft, fluffy texture and flavorful, aromatic fillings. In this video, I'll show you how to make traditional Vietnamese Banh Bao with a white, fluffy dough and a filling of quail eggs and ground pork. Let's get started. Before we start, let me explain how the ingredients for Banh Bao are organized. They're divided into three main parts: the starter dough, the main dough, and the filling. To make it easier for you to follow along, I'll display the specific ingredients for each part on the screen as we go through each step. So, don't worry about memorizing everything right now. Just follow along, and you'll have everything you need. The dough consists of two parts: the starter dough or sponge dough, which gives the buns their fluffy texture, and the main dough. For the starter dough, you'll need all-purpose flour with a low protein content, 10 to 11%, for a soft texture. Add sugar, instant dry yeast, commonly used for sweetbreads, unsweetened fresh milk, and coconut cream. Combine all these ingredients and mix them well. Then, transfer the mixture to a stand mixer and knead it for about 8 to 10 minutes. Cover the dough tightly and let it proof until it doubles in size. The proofing time for the starter dough depends on the room temperature and weather, ranging from 1 to 3 hours. Be careful not to overproof, as it can make the buns taste sour. When the dough has expanded 1.5 to 2 times its original size, it's ready to use. On cooler days, like today, my dough took a little over an hour to double in size. Once the starter dough is ready, we'll prepare the main dough. For the main dough, combine all-purpose flour, cornstarch, baking powder, sugar, salt, vinegar, and oil or lard. Mix these dry ingredients with the starter dough. Use a stand mixer to knead this mixture for around 15 minutes at slightly above medium speed. Kneading time can vary depending on the quantity of dough and the type of mixer. For a dough batch of about 1 kilogram, 15 minutes should suffice. The dough should feel smooth, elastic, and non-sticky. After kneading, knead the dough by hand briefly to remove any air bubbles. Then, cover it tightly and let it rest for about an hour. While the dough is resting, let's prepare the filling. As I mentioned earlier, I'll make a traditional filling of pork and quail eggs. For the filling, use ground pork, shoulder meat for tenderness, soaked and chopped vermicelli noodles, soaked and minced wood ear, and shiitake mushrooms, minced shallots and onions, and quail eggs that have been boiled and peeled. Begin by sautéing the minced shallots and onions in oil or pork lard until fragrant and golden. Add the mushrooms, then half the seasoning mixture, and stir-fry for about a minute. Turn off the heat and let the mixture cool. Once cooled, mix the sautéed ingredients with the ground pork and vermicelli noodles. This helps the filling bind together nicely. Let the mixture rest for about 30 minutes to absorb the flavors. By now, both the dough and the filling are ready. Let's move on to shaping the buns. Divide the dough into smaller portions, about 90 grams each. You can adjust the size to anywhere between 70 to 90 grams. Flatten each piece of dough to remove air bubbles. Let the flattened dough rest briefly before shaping to ensure optimal rise. I usually flatten 3 pieces at a time, then return to shape them. When rolling out the dough, roll the edges thinner than the center for easier wrapping. Place about 30 grams of pork filling and 1 quail egg in the center. To seal the bun, gather the edges and pinch them together at the top. This process is called pleating or pinching. If you prefer, you can skip the pleating and shape the buns into smooth rounds. Place each shaped bun on a piece of parchment paper to prevent sticking during steaming. With this recipe, I can make 13 buns, or up to 15 to 16 smaller buns if desired. After shaping, place the buns in a covered pot or container to proof for another hour. If the dough seems dry due to weather, lightly mist the buns with water to maintain moisture. The buns have now rested for nearly an hour. It's time to steam them. Before steaming, check that the pleats, especially at the top, are sealed tightly to prevent them from opening during steaming. Boil water, ensuring it fills about 1/3 of the pot beneath the steaming rack. Only place the buns in the steamer once the water is boiling. To prevent condensation from dripping onto the buns, cover the lid with a cloth or mesh. Steam the buns over medium-high heat for 13 to 15 minutes. Adjust the steaming time and heat based on your experience. Undercooking can leave the buns raw, while overcooking may cause them to harden. If the heat is too low, the buns won't rise well. If it's too high, the buns may split or turn yellow. Once steamed, let the buns sit for 2 to 3 minutes before removing the lid to avoid thermal shock, which could cause them to collapse. Look at these buns, soft, fluffy, and white. Pressing the dough lightly should reveal its elasticity. Inside, the filling is aromatic and flavorful. Banh Bao tastes best when served hot. If you're not eating them immediately, let them cool completely, then store them in an airtight container. They can be kept in the fridge for 4 to 5 days or frozen for up to 2 weeks. I hope you'll enjoy making and tasting them as much as I do. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me for more exciting videos. Thank you, and see you in the next one.